Hi, my name is Joo-Win Kim, and this is my final project on Ocado Warehouse Robotic System. So the problem description. So basically, we want to optimize the travel distance, and travel time and energy spent for the robotic robots. And there are a lot of constraints to consider, but mainly I'm considering the overlapping problem while traveling for the robots. And based on the ideology that I built, I'm gonna suggest ideas for VBA code and IBM codes. And I'm assuming that having a least amount of turn is better than having multiple turns, because I think for a robot, braking and reaccelerating cause a lot of energy to spend, and we also want to consider on optimizing the usage of batteries. So for the ideology that I came up with, I am assuming that for each assigned robot, it will only have one turn for it to reach to certain cells. So here's my mathematical model, but it's more like ideology. So from X1 to X10 represent the battery of robots, and from Z1 to Z10 are binary numbers, and those represent the packaging center. And from Y11 to Y1010 will be the item cells, and each of them will be represented as a binary numbers. And here's the example of my model. I'm assuming that there are 10 robots, and whenever a robot is assigned to get item from a Y sections, you travel to the Y and drop off certain assigned Z packaging center. And the Q will be representing the number of cells traveled. So here I also made an assumption that every time a robot travels from one cell to the other cells, it would take 1% of battery life, and R will represent the remaining battery after a robot traveled. And we're trying to optimize minimize the sum of all the travel distance. And R as an remained battery will be labeled as Xi, which is the initial battery of the robot minus the number of cells traveled, which is Q. So after the robot travels, the remainder battery will be reassigned to Xi. And here's my Excel model. So before I jump into the Excel model, I want to describe what my idea is. And my idea is, so as what I said, when from X1 to X10, which is charging stations, robots will be assigned to each of them. And when a robot is assigned to deliver a packet, item from Y sections, and drop it onto the certain Z, which are the packaging station, it will it will make a travel that will have only one turn and travel back to Z and come back to charging station. And if after each robot traveled, another assignment will be assigned to each robot, and if the remaining remaining battery is less than the number of cells that it has to travel, then it will the assignment will be skipped to the next robot, which is X2. And if none of them are workable, then it has to wait until until one of the robot will be charged to deliver an item. So this so here's my VBA code. So I made a access data database, and this code supposed to bring the access data the data from the access database to the Excel, but for some reason I couldn't make it work. So I just put the numbers and values manually. And so I call the file here and select everything from other tables, and it will assign it to which is show on the Excel table from A to L2, which is from A2 to L2 and so on. And my original goal was to if a user wants an item to be delivered to to one of the packaging center, which represent as a ZI, from an item cell YIJ, which is one of these cells. So to put the numbers, what values here, and then when I click the solver here, it will automatically shows the optimal way of the robot to travel and deliver back into the packaging center. That was my initial idea, but I really couldn't figure out how to do it. So this is just my idea. It doesn't really show anything or prove or solves anything, but this is just to show that I try something. For IBM OPL as well, I couldn't really figure out all the codes and constraints that I need to put on. So this is just a very minimum pseudocode, or just a basic knowledge here. So I assign X1 to X10, which represent robots, Q, which will be representing the sum of Y, and R as in remained battery, and Y11 to Y1010 to be item cells. So I want to minimize the sum of Y, which is which can represent both battery consumption and the travel distance. And since I want to set Y, the item cells Y11 to Y1010 to be binary, I just simply represented them as a Y, and to be less than or equal to 1, so it will be 1 or 0. And if xi is 0, then it's false. This means if a machine is 0, it means either the battery is 0, or the machine has been left to do another assignment. So if this thing happens, then then the assignment should transfer to the next robot. And if the robot, if the remainder battery of the robot is greater than Q, which is the sum of distance that the assignment requires, then it goes on. And this is so what this part I try to show is for each cell that when the robot travels, since so let me show you here. So let's say I'm trying to travel from here, Y11 to Y57. So it's going like this and this. And each cells here will be represented with binary numbers. When the robot travels from here to here, every time it goes to the next cell, if the number is 0, then it will go, and if this number is 0, go. But if this number is 1, which means there's another machine that is traveling through that cell, it will stop here and loop it until this number becomes 0, so that it goes to cell and goes on. And that was my idea. And after it travels, xi will be relabeled as R, which is xi minus sum of y, which is the energy used for the robot to travel to certain location. And it will be charging until it's usable for the next assignment. Thank you.